welcome to episode 9, I think, of The Black Knitter. I am Liz, the Black Knitter. If you're new here, welcome. I know I have a lot of new subscribers, so it's nice to see you here. If you've been here before, welcome back. Thanks so much for watching and supporting my channel. I hope that you will like this video and subscribe. I'm not trying to make money or become like, social media famous or anything like that. I'm just really trying to help you find Black and brown makers in our community to support. And I'm also just trying to educate people about issues regarding race in the making community so that we can move toward a beloved making community. So if you're interested in learning more about makers of color and supporting them, you're in the right place. If you're interested in learning about what it's like to be a person of color in the making community, you're in the right place. And if you want to learn how to be a better ally to Black and brown people, you're in the right place. So welcome. Buckle up, because this is going to be a long episode. I haven't been here for a while. I apologize for that, but I've had a lot going on. So we're going to jump in. I'll give you some updates. Then I'll talk about whips and purchases. Excuse my dirty sweatshirt. This is a sweatshirt that has a pocket in it. I'm going to stand up a little bit so you can see the pocket. Nico, my little Yorkie, I'll talk about him in a minute, loves it when I wear this because he likes to sleep in the pocket. So he's in the pocket right now. But, when I give him his medicine in the morning, it kind of gets all over me, and I haven't changed clothes yet. It's a Monday. Today is the 4th, I think. I don't even know. You'll hear more about why I don't know what day it is in a minute. But it is a Monday. I'm taking a day off of work. I'll be jumping back into work tomorrow. But there's a lot going on. So, long episode, probably the longest one I've done so far. So, you ready? Woohoo! All right, so Habari Gani, what's the news? What's been happening? So since the last episode, one of the things that I shared with you was that my son was learning to drive a manual transmission or a stick shift. Well, I am happy to report that he is driving his car to class now, which is awesome. So he has gotten comfortable enough driving the stick that he is using it to do the things that he needs to do. So, yay! I'm really happy about that. He actually just left for class a few minutes ago. I talked to you guys last time about my little dog, Nico, who is a Yorkie. He's a teacup Yorkie. On a good day, he is only 3 pounds. He is almost 15. He'll be 15 in August. That's when we celebrate his birthday because he's a rescue. But he was recently diagnosed with kidney failure. He also has congestive heart failure. He's had that for a while. But the kidney failure has gotten bad enough where we had to start treating him with subcutaneous fluids. That seems to be working pretty well. He's not gaining much weight. Like I said, he's usually 3 pounds. He got down to like 1.8 when he was, declining. He's gained some of that back. He's like 2.1 now. But despite the fact that he's eating really well, we're feeding him 3 times a day, and he's finishing his food at every meal. He hasn't gotten over that 2.1. So we think it's just because he's using a lot of calories, just like processing things, because his kidneys aren't functioning well, because his heart isn't functioning well. So, we're just trying to keep him comfortable, letting him live his best life. So again, I'm staying in a dirty sweatshirt because he's happy being in this pocket. He's sleeping pretty well right now. He might stick his head out at some point and I'll let you guys see him. But we haven't had to get fluids for a while because he's been doing well. His last blood work was pretty good. And we're going to go in next week so they can do another check on the blood work, and also give him a vitamin shot that seems to help with his energy and appetite. So he's doing pretty well, and I'm happy with that. I have to shout out Pamela at Pamela's Crochet and Knit Corner. She left me a comment on the last video. She said that she did fluid therapy with one of her dogs for 4 years. He actually lived to be 18. So that just really lifted my spirits. And so thank you, Pamela, for sharing that little tidbit of information. It really helped me feel better about what I'm dealing with Nico. I don't know that I'll get 4 years, but if I get a couple more months, I'm happy about that. We've already decided as a family that when he gets to the point where he just doesn't want to eat, because he loves to eat, if he gets to the point where he doesn't want to eat, that'll be our signal that it's time to let him cross the rainbow bridge. So if you pray, continue to pray for me, because it is going to be difficult to let him go. But I know it will be the best thing for him when it is time. So that's the update about Nico. I also let you guys know in the last episode that I was having trouble sleeping. And y'all came through with the comments. I love this community. There were lots of suggestions and tips for getting a good night's sleep. And I did try some of them. But you know what? As soon as the time change happened, as soon as we sprung forward, I started sleeping better. So I think there's something about the time change that kind of messes me up that I don't really adjust to. I've been seeing on the news, there are some like doctors that specialize in sleep who say that actually daylight savings time, I can't remember if we're in daylight savings time now or we just came out of daylight savings time. But anyway, the changing the clocks forward really isn't optimal for sleep patterns, because they said our bodies follow the sun, whatever that means. But I'll tell you, springing forward helped me. I'm sleeping better. The last 2 nights I have slept really, really well, actually. But anyway, thanks for those of you who left comments and reached out on Instagram too. That was really helpful. What else? I'm looking at my notes here because I have so much to tell you. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably saw some of my snippets from the New Edition concert that I went to. It was so much fun. Man, it was a lot of fun. It was so much fun. It took me a week to recover. I haven't had that much fun at a concert in a long time. It was 4 hours of music. Jodeci played for an hour, and then Charlie Wilson played for an hour, and then New Edition played for 2 hours. And I was on my feet dancing almost the entire time. And I can't do that. I have to remember that, I'm technically a senior citizen. So it took me a good week to recover from that, but it was totally worth it. If you have a chance to see the New Edition tour, definitely do it. It is worth every single penny, for sure. What else do I have to tell you? Again, if you follow me on Instagram, you will have seen some of my posts about alternative spring break. I took a group of students to Selma, and we did a couple of side trips to Montgomery. And we learned about the civil rights movement and did some service while we were there. We partnered with the Selma Center for Nonviolence and Reconciliation. I'll link them below. There is so much important history in Selma, and the folks at the center are really working to not only preserve that history, but to make life in Selma better for the people who live there. They do a lot of education on nonviolence and restorative justice. We actually got to participate in a restorative justice training, which was really cool. And they're really trying to address some of the issues in Selma, like gun violence, food insecurity, and economic development. But again, I'll link them below so that you can check them out. If you're able and willing, please consider supporting the work of the center by making a donation. You can either make a donation to the center. You can also become a member of their farm co-op, which is one of the ways that they're trying to address food insecurity in Selma. So check it out. It's a really, really good place. The staff there is awesome. And we learned a lot through our work with the Selma Center. We actually ended up leaving Selma on Friday morning, but I didn't get home until Saturday night because we ended up spending the night in the Charlotte airport because American Airlines, that's the airline we were flying on, canceled a whole bunch of flights when we got to Charlotte, including ours. And we couldn't get a hotel. We tried to get a couple of minivans to rent to take to drive back to Cleveland because they were telling us that they weren't going to be able to get us on a flight until Monday. It was terrible. So all the hotels were booked, all the cars were gone. We were stuck. So we ended up getting on the standby list for the next flight to Cleveland, which was the next morning, Saturday morning. And I ended up staying in Charlotte until every student was on a flight to Cleveland. So I didn't actually get on a flight until almost 6:00 Saturday night. So it was crazy. So we ended up spending the night, Friday night, in the airport. I got about 2 hours of sleep. It was not a good situation. So I was exhausted when I got home. I woke up yesterday with a headache, and I was like, wow, maybe I should check my blood pressure because I have high blood pressure anyway. But I checked my blood pressure and it was very high. So I think it was just the stress of, being responsible for all these students and trying to get everybody home. So hopefully today it's better. I haven't checked it yet today, but I will later, just to make sure it's coming down to where it typically is. But that's one of the reasons why I'm off of work today. I just needed more recovery time. I thought I would have the whole weekend. And since we got back later than expected, I didn't. I'm actually going to work from home tomorrow. So I'm still recovering from that experience. So it was a terrible end to a really good trip. So I don't want to have that experience again. I also wanted to, this is an update about me, but I just wanted to talk a little bit about the war in Ukraine. What Russia is doing is terrible. And what our government isn't really enough. But I know that, being more aggressive in our response could lead to a worldwide nuclear war. So I get it. But, the war crimes that are being committed by Putin and the Russian military are atrocious. There are refugees pouring over borders to get out of Ukraine. I know you've seen that on the news, and there's so many people volunteering to help with that refugee situation, which is great. But, racism is still present, even in war. As an example, there are African students who have been trying to get out of Ukraine. They've been there to study, going to college. And they have been faced with a lot of racism trying to get out of Ukraine. They really just want to go back home, but they've been denied transportation, like they've been pushed out of or kept from boarding trains out of Ukraine. And if they've managed to get to borders, they've been turned away at the border. Like there are officials like in Poland, for example, who are saying you can't cross simply because they're African. And that situation hasn't gotten as much attention as Ukrainian refugees have. And it's just a terrible situation. And I wish that there was more that we could do. My church has taken up a collection. We have some connections with some missionaries there who are trying to serve people who are who can't get out of the country. So do what you can to help in the refugee effort. And, I believe in the power of prayer. Y'all know I'm a certified lay minister. I've talked about that before. So I believe in the power of prayer. When I say I'm praying for you, I really mean it and believe that it is effective. So it's not just words to me. All right. I think that's it for updates. Let's talk about elimu, or education. Today, last time we talked about beloved community and what that means, how Dr. King defined it. This episode, I want to talk about what it means to be a good ally to Black and brown people. An ally is someone who isn't in a particular marginalized group, but wants to help combat the injustices or oppression experienced by that group. So an example, I'm straight, I'm a heterosexual woman, but I try to be a good ally to LGBTQ plus people. I get involved in issues faced by that community. So, for example, I'm part of a group of United Methodists who are opposed to the exclusion of LGBTQ plus people in the full life of the church. So, for example, we have a rule in the United Methodist Church that openly practicing LGBTQ plus people can't be ordained in the United Methodist Church. And we're working to change that. You probably heard about some of that in the news. It's a big issue in the United Methodist Church. And the United Methodist Church might be splitting because of this issue. So I've been actively involved in efforts to include LGBTQ people in the full life of the United Methodist Church. So I want to talk about how white people in the making community in particular can be good allies to Black and brown people. And there's lots of really good resources about allyship out there. One is a YouTuber by the name of Franchesca at Cheska Lee is her username on YouTube. I'll link her below. She has a great video on how to be a good ally that I think you should check out if you're interested in this subject and learning more about it. But I want to give you some of my thoughts on what it means to be a good ally. So the first thing I would say about being a good ally is that you should educate yourself. Please don't expect your Black and brown friends to answer all of your questions about the experiences of Black and brown people. And if you have a Black or brown friend, don't assume that you can ask them all the questions. Even though they may be your only Black and brown friend, they probably have a number of white friends. I am the only Black friend of a lot of my white friends. And what that means is that I'm not only getting questions from you as one of my white friends, but a lot of white people, you see? So I end up getting a lot of questions. Even though you think you're the only one asking, you're not. So that's a burden that you should not expect your Black and brown friends to bear. And don't get upset when I say that you probably only have one Black or brown friend, because there's lots of research, and I've talked about this research that shows that the friend networks of white people are not diverse. So when I say that, I'm saying something that's based on research. So if you have lots of Black and brown friends as a white person, you're unusual. Take the time to educate yourself. It's harder to educate yourself. It takes more time. It takes more effort. But you know what? Things that are worthwhile typically aren't easy. And that's okay, right? So educate yourself. Franchesca's channel is a great source. She's also really entertaining. She's really funny. And I will link some of my favorite resources too, so you can start there if you don't know where to begin. But the first thing is educate yourself. The second thing I would say is that you have to be willing to take an honest look at yourself and ask yourself some difficult questions. How does race show up in your own life? What's your experience with race? Does talking about race make you uncomfortable? And if it does, why is that the case? Think about things like, why is it that you grew up in an all-white community or neighborhood? Think about those things. You have to get comfortable with your own experience with race in order to be a better ally. It's very difficult to, as a Black person, it's very difficult for me to engage in conversations with white people about race when they haven't dealt with their own feelings about race. So I really strongly encourage, I think this is probably the most important thing besides educating yourself, is really being willing to take a hard look at yourself and some of the unconscious biases that you might have regarding race. I think that's really, really important. So spend some time there. Because if you don't, you're not going to be a good ally. It's as simple as that. The other thing I would say, and I've said this before, you should believe Black and brown people when they share their experiences with racism. Don't try to convince them that what they experienced wasn't racism. Don't try to explain it away. Black and brown people have a lot of experience with racism. They know it when they experience it. They know it when they see it. So if they tell you it's racism, it's racism. So believe them and recognize that if they trust you enough that they're going to share that with you, that your objective in that situation is to listen, and to listen deeply, and to sympathize, say, I'm sorry that you experienced that, and ask how you can be supportive. Listen to understand. Don't defend. Don't explain it away. That's just not helpful. Just say, okay, tell me about it, and tell me what I can do to support you. And I would also say, if you're not willing to do what they might ask you to do to support them, then don't ask what you can do. Just say, I'm here to listen. Okay? Because it's really hurtful if I say, I need you to do this, and you say, I'm sorry, I can't do that. I can't get involved. That's not being a good ally, just so you know. So you really need to, if you aren't willing to step out to do whatever it is your friend is going to ask you to do to support them, just say, I'm here to listen, period. Okay. Another way that you can be a good ally is to find ways to interrupt or disrupt racism when you see it, when you encounter it, even if it's at your own dinner table. I'm just going to leave that right there. Okay? So you have to call it out, because if you don't, your silence means that you support and condone it. So if you want other people to understand that you don't support or condone racism, you got to call it out when you see it. So that takes a little bravery, a little courage, but I have confidence in you. You can do it. Another thing I would say about being a good ally is don't expect Black and brown people to do things for free or at a discounted rate. In the Black community, we call that the hookup, and the hookup can kill Black and brown businesses. So we can't expect people to do things for free. We can't expect people to do things at a discounted rate. We need to pay people what they're worth. I say this because there's so much evidence that the work of Black women in particular, Latinx women in particular, is not compensated well at all. Black women make 64 cents for every dollar that a white man makes. Latinx women only make 57 cents for every dollar that a white man makes. That's compared to 83 cents that white women make for every dollar that a white man makes. So women across the board aren't compensated at rates equal to men. We know that. But when you look intersectionally, meaning you look at race and gender together, you see that for women of color, it's really bad, right? So when we want Black and brown women to do things like teach classes or give you a wholesale rate for yarn, or, project bags and stitch markers, all that stuff, you need to be willing to pay them what they're really worth. So don't ask Black and brown people to do stuff for free or to give you the hookup, because that's just adding to this problem of inequity in compensation. The last thing I want to say about allyship, and I think this is really important too, that is that you should accept and expect that you are going to make mistakes. It's going to happen. When you first start educating yourself, you're learning, so you're going to make mistakes. Every learner makes mistakes. It's okay to get it wrong sometimes. It really is. What matters most is how you handle those mistakes, right? So understand that how you intend for something to be received is separate from the actual impact that that thing has on the receiver. That means that trying to convince someone that you didn't make a mistake because your intention was good negates the experience of harm from the impact. I hope that makes sense. So, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to say things. You're going to do things that are going to be received in a way that is different from the intention that you had in doing that thing. In that situation, you just have to listen and apologize and commit to doing better the next time. You can't spend all your time denying and explaining, because again, your intention is separate from the impact. Okay? So what you need to do in that situation is apologize, commit to doing better, and then do better the next time, right? Maya Angelou said, when you know better, you do better. The problem happens when you know better and you don't do better. Okay? There was an issue a number of months ago with a knitting influencer who made a mistake. The problematic behavior was called out. Like the impact of what they did was called out by Black and brown people all across the making community. And instead of saying, I'm sorry, I'm going to do better. And this is a person who knew better because they had done podcasts, posted on social media, things to suggest that they knew better. Anyway, instead of apologizing and committing to do better and doing better, this person really just doubled down on the mistake and started like pointing fingers at other people. That's not the way you want to handle situations. When you make a mistake, believe what Black and brown people are telling you, say you're sorry, and then make a real, genuine commitment to do better and be better. That's the way you handle that. All right? Okay, so that's what I have to say about allyship. If you have questions, feel free to drop those in the comments or send me a message on Instagram. I'd be happy to answer questions that you might have about that. All right, now it is time finally to get into some knitting content. Kuumba time, creativity. So I don't have any finished objects. I'll just start there. My whips, my works in progress are getting out of control. I have said on here a number of times that I don't like to have more than 3 or 4 whips at one time. I really don't. But there have been too many cool test knits and make-alongs happening. So I got too much going on right now. So here we go. I am going to start with my Birthright shawl. It's in my Yarn and Whiskey project bag, one of them. So I haven't made any progress on this. I'm going to pull it out just to show you. I've been using yarn from Lady Dye Yarn and Willy Nilly Knits for this. I love the pattern. It's really good TV knitting. It's got 3 different sections. The pattern is by Dr. Charlie Untangled. So my issue with this is that I've decided that I like these colorways separately, but I don't think they're working very well together. So I've decided that I'm going to frog this and start over. I could just take it out down to the color change and continue with the first color or do another color. I don't know if I'm going to do that. I have to decide, but I'm probably going to frog it and just start all over again. But the pattern is great. Definitely check it out. Birthright Shawl. It was part of the Juneteenth club last summer that Lady Dye Yarns did. So check out that pattern. But yeah, I'll probably frog it. Okay, another whip. I've got a lot down here, y'all. This is not a good situation. All right, so this is a project that I actually keep in my office at work, but I brought it home because I was going to do this alternative spring break trip, and I thought it would be good. It would be good airplane knitting, and it was. I have it in my Juneteenth project bag. That was another part of the Juneteenth club from Lady Di Yarns. And this is the Hitchhiker Shawl by Martina Bem, I think is how you say the last name. It's a one skein project. I love those because I have a lot of single skeins that I bought because I love the color. So this is one of those patterns that you can use to use up one of those skeins that you have a single skein for. So this is where I'm at so far. This is one where you just keep repeating the pattern until you run out of yarn. And it's pretty long right now. I'll hold it this way so you can kind of see the edge. So it's going to be pretty long. I've got quite a bit of this yarn. Well, not quite a bit. So that's where I'm at with that. This yarn is by it's by Noma Bonds, and I'll link her below. She's a black independent dyer. She's very creative. She's got all kinds of art and stitch markers. She does a lot of different things. So yarn is just one of the things that she does. And I bought this colorway, and I can't remember the name of it. I don't have the ball band anymore because it's pink and green, which is the color of one of the historically Black Greek letter organizations, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. And so that is actually, I'm making that for a friend who is in that sorority. When I saw that colorway, I thought of that immediately, and so ordered it right away. So been working on that, and hope to, well, I'll probably just take it back to the office, because there's no deadline for me to get that done. The other thing that I'm working on that you've seen before is the single malt sweater by Maxim for my husband. And I really should use some progress keepers so you guys can see where I was and where I am, but I just keep forgetting. I'm not that organized with my knitting. I'll try to remember that though. So I'm getting pretty far on the body. I was going to stop and do the sleeves and then come back to the body, but I have it. I did have my husband try it on before I left for my alternative spring break, and it needs like a good 6 more inches. He's pretty tall, so I've got some work that I need to do on that before it is done. And I am using City Tweed for that, which is an Aran weight yarn. It's 55% merino, 25% superfine alpaca, 20% Donegal tweed, and the colorway is cobalt, which is really nice. He picked the color. So that is coming along very well. And then the other, let me do this one. So this next project, I've talked about the Wafla cardigan by Fatima Hinds of Disturbing the Fleece. She's doing a Walfla Make-A-Long right now. It's not too late to join if you want to do that. But I was really excited for her to re-release this pattern, and when she did, I bought the pattern right away and got my yarn. So the yarn that I am using, got the ball band right here. It's Essence of Autumn yarn, and this is a BFL in worsted weight. Y'all, I love this BFL. This is actually a non-superwash BFL, 100%. And the colorway is walnut. It's a really nice brown. And let me see. So this is a cardigan, so it's knit bottom up flat because it's a cardigan. Let me see. Yeah, so this is the right side. It's got this cool cable pattern. I love this, and I actually love the wrong side too. Look at the wrong side. Isn't that cool? I am really enjoying this knit. I actually took this with me on my spring break trip as well. So every day I knit a little bit on this. And I'll try to remember to put a progress keeper on this, so I remember where I was the last time I showed it, so I can show you my progress the next time. And this is in my Bumblebee project bag. I got it on Etsy. I can't remember the name of the maker. It's not on here anywhere. So that is that was the third thing I showed you. No, fourth. 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 2 more whips, y'all. This is ridiculous. So I will show you the test knit that I was working on. I've shown this before. It's the Fezeka Shawl. I think this should be coming out any day. I am still working on it. I am behind, but I've been through all of the all of the sections, all of the sections of the pattern. So yeah, so it's just taking me, I've said this before, it's taking me a while to do this because of the cables. I have not figured out. This pattern has 2x2x2 cables, and I have not figured out how to do that without a cable needle. So I'm not working through it as quickly as I typically could with a cable pattern. But I love the pattern of this. So part of it is just this cool knit purl section, and then it's got these 2x2x2 cables. Beautiful pattern. And you can look at, if you just search on Ravelry for Fezeka Shawl, you can see pictures that test knitters have posted. And the yarn that I'm using for this is so nice. I might need to get more because I am, let me see if I can find the ball here. This is all I have left. And I need to do several more repeats of the body section to make it as wide as I want it to be. So I'm gonna have to order more yarn. This yarn is an MCN merino cashmere nylon. MCN, some MCN. I have expensive taste, y'all. But this MCN is by Superfine Yarn Co., Cleveland company, so local to me. And this is their West 25th Street base, their MCN. And the colorway is Vesper, which is really nice. So I need to order some more of that so I can make it as big as I want it to. So I did not work on this the last week because I didn't take this to Selma with me. But I'll be getting back to that. So that was a test knit. I have one more test knit that I started after the last episode. I saw the call and I was like, oh, my daughter would really love this top. So I applied to be a test knitter. I'm going to show you the picture. Sorry for the crinkling. It's called the Kiss Me More top. That's a picture of the designer. Isn't that cute? And my daughter lives in Florida, so she can wear this a lot. But this pattern is by Shauna K. Salmon. She is AKA Shayna on Instagram. We've been given permission to share this with folks. This is almost finished. So I have the sleeves on it. And I've got the I-cord edging around the top complete. So I got to put the I-cord edge on the bottom and on the bottom of the sleeves. And then it laces up in the back. So I have to make the tie for the back. And my daughter wants it in a different color. So I have to figure out what that's going to be. So I'm almost done with this. I might try to finish it up today so I can send it to her. I love this yarn. It's my first time using it. My knitting teacher at my local yarn shop, her name is Judy. She suggested this yarn. It's called Bamboo Pop, and it is 50% cotton and 50% bamboo. It feels really nice. I think it'll be good for the humid Florida weather. And the colorway is called Sundae, like ice cream sundae. Color 139 is the number. And it's from Universal Yarn. I got it on their website. So I love the color. I love the feel of the yarn. I've actually, I'm holding it double for this pattern to get gauge. And because when I was holding it single, it seemed like it was going to be really see-through because this pattern has a lot of negative ease. So it's going to stretch when my daughter ties it. So I didn't want it to be so see-through-y. So I doubled it, and that's it came out really nice. The fabric is really nice, I think, that I'm getting. If you can see it. So yeah, so I recommend that yarn if you're looking for yarn for a summer knit. It's a good one. Okay, so that's all the whips. And we're already almost at an hour. I still have to show you everything that I've been doing to support cooperative economics, Ujamaa. I've been buying a lot of stuff, y'all. So if you need a break, pause the video right here. I'm going to take a drink of water. Okay. I bought a lot of stuff, y'all. So let's begin. So I will start with this. I'll just show you these things in the order that I put them up here on my desk. So the first thing is, I can't remember if I showed this before. I purchased some wool of the Andes. My son has requested a fisherman's sweater. If you have some suggestions for a fisherman's sweater pattern, let me know. I've looked at a couple. One that he really likes, the pattern is out of print. I think I have connected with someone who is going to share that pattern with me. But if you have some suggestions for a good fisherman's sweater, drop them in the comments below. I would like to know. But my son picked out this color. It is amethyst heather. Really pretty. So I have a whole box of it on the floor behind me. You can probably see that in the background. So I have a lot of it because I'm going to need a lot of it because he's got a pretty big chest. All right. The next thing I have here is I signed up for the Lady Dye Yarn Sock Society Club. So I have the this is the January. Excuse me. I have the January club here. And it came with crinkle, sorry. There's a button that says up to no good. It's cute. There's a sticker that says good vibes. Oh, here's Nico. Say hi, Nico. To all the people. You doing all right, buddy? Okay. I'll be right back. He probably has to go out. Okay. I'm back. All right. I also got some popcorn while I was up. Okay, so I was in the middle of showing you the Sock Society January Club. Another sticker. Life is good. A tape measure. That's cool. That's actually a keychain. Awesome. Got a piece of candy, a tapestry needle, and some stitch markers in the bag. Nice. All right. And then the yarn. And it all came in this really nice little bag. The yarn is, the colorway is Blossom. It's 80% merino, 20% nylon. I'm guessing that's superwash. Kind of feels like superwash. 435 yards. Really nice springtime color. Very good. I'm looking forward to making some socks with that. Or maybe not socks. I don't know. All right. Next, I'll show this. I was planning on wearing it, but maybe I'll wear it to work tomorrow. Look at that. It's a Gigi Made It t-shirt. Isn't that awesome? Did you know she sells merchandise? She is a Black influencer in the making community. She loves orange. So you always see her in orange. And I love this t-shirt. Love the hair of the knitter. So I'll be wearing this for sure. Love it. I also got a t-shirt from Willy Nilly Knits. I don't have it down here. I took it upstairs and forgot to bring it down. So I don't have that. Another purchase that I made This is from Old Rusted Chair, an independent dyer. Let me see what my notes say here. Old Rusted Chair. This is a sock set that she was selling to raise money for Planned Parenthood. So 20% of every skein goes to support Planned Parenthood. And this set, the main color is called Go Home Losers. I love that. Oh, I can't get it apart here. I should have been better prepared. There we go. So this is the colorway Go Home Losers. Really pretty. There's some purple in there, blue, black, green. Really nice. A little bit of yellow. Really, really nice. And it is a fingering. 80% merino, 20% nylon. And then these two minis came with it. The pink is called Trollop, and the blue is called Bossy. And these are 80-20 as well. So these together would make some really cool socks, I think. So, Old Rusted Chair. Oh, this way. There's the label. And she does a lot of things that support causes. So I like her yarn a lot. Okay, this is something that I was really excited to get. I was waiting anxiously for it. Me and my family love the movie The Fifth Element. It's got Bruce Willis in it. I forget the name of the comedian. But check it out if you've never seen it. Love the movie. But Lady Di Yarns put together a Fifth Element club. And this is great. So it included project bag with, characters from the movie, and the stones that are a very important part of the plot of the movie. Crinkle, crinkle. So we have a Fifth Element sticker. Again, this matches the project bag. I've started putting stickers on my desk, which is an old IKEA table. So I'm going to add those there. And then these are cool stitch markers or progress keepers that are the stones in the movie. A stone for each element. Too cool. Love that. More stickers for each of the elements. Oh no, this is actually a tattoo, a temporary tattoo. I don't know if I'll use this, but it's cool anyway. So a temporary tattoo. A button that says Earth, Wind, Fire, Water. The 4 elements. Cool. Some espresso coffee. She always includes tea or coffee, something like that. A tape measure. So now I have 2. This one says the elements. Cool. Another keychain. I love having multiples of these because I can put them in multiple project bags. So that's a cool thing. A charm bracelets. So some of her clubs include charms. So you can use this to put your charms on. And so I could choose to put these on the bracelet instead of using them for progress keepers. And then this, which is way cool. Again, if you've seen the movie, you get it. It's a multi-pass. It's cool. A keychain. So really excited about that. And then the yarn is a 100% superwash merino. The colorway is called Plava Laguna. That is the name of a character in the movie. And if you've seen the movie, it's the Plava Laguna is the character who sings in the movie and is the caretaker of the stones. And this is her color. This is so accurate. This is really, really great. Diane Ivy is the dyer at Lady Dye Yarns, and she did a fantastic job on this color, making it match Plava Laguna. So great colorway. Haven't decided what I'm gonna use this for, but so excited to get this. My family was really excited to see it too. As a matter of fact, they might steal this from me because it's pretty cool. Or one of the stitch markers. We'll see. I might give up one for them or give them a button or something. I think there are still more of these available. If you're interested, just check out Lady Dye Yarns. And you might be able to score one of those yourselves. And then another purchase I made was a project bag from Broke and Crafty. And I will link her below as well, like I do all of the makers that I mentioned. Broke and Crafty is a black maker. And here's a card. It has her website on there, but I will definitely link it below. And I love this project bag. It's the perfect size for a shawl. Generous size for socks. But really good for like a shawl size pattern. And it's knit stitches, which is nice. It's got a nice lining, and it's drawstring box bottom, so it'll stand up. You put it on the floor or wherever you are crafting. And it's got her label. So, high quality project bag. If you're interested in buying a project bag from a black maker, I suggest you check out Broke and Crafty. So those are all of my purchases. Well, no, I take that back. I did make one more purchase at my local yarn shop. I made a purchase to go with something that I received in the mail. I mentioned that for the Black History Make-A-Long that Johnny Bow offered to make a custom colorway for a prize, which is awesome. So it's Johnny Bow of Knitty Bow Fiber. His wife is the Lefty Knitter, and they share a podcast, the Lefty Knitter podcast, on YouTube. They will be linked below. But Aquila, the Lefty Knitter, and Johnny Bow have both been really good allies. and supporters of my podcast, but just really good allies in general. So if you don't follow the Lefty Knitted podcast, make sure that you do. You won't regret it. I want to first read to you part of the letter that Johnny Bo sent me when he sent me this yarn. It's an example of an ally who is working to educate themselves about the history of Black and brown people. So he says in this letter that the inspiration for this colorway came from Dr. Huey P. Newton, who was the founder of the Black Panthers. And he says in this letter that he is currently reading Revolutionary Suicide, which is written by Huey P. Newton. So he's educating himself by reading. The things that he was reading inspired this colorway. He says, I named this one Inherit the Revolution based on the quote, the revolution has always been in the hands of the young. The young always inherit the revolution. Amen and amen, right? So I just love that. He used Pan-African colors, red, black, and green. And the base here is glimmer fingering. So it's a fingering weight. It's 70% superwash merino, 25% nylon, and 5% stellina. So it's got some sparkle. Look at that, y'all. This is beautiful. So he dyed enough. There's the label. They have an Etsy shop if you want to support them. He dyed enough that I was able to give some away for the MAU, and that has gone out, and keep some. So I decided that what I'm going to do, because I love this colorway, it is fantastic. I went to my local yarn shop because I decided I'm going to do the Painting Honeycombs Shawl by Stephen West. I think it'll show off this colorway beautifully. So this is going to be the spaces in the honeycombs, and then this is going to be the actual honeycomb. So this is just a black. Well, let me tell you what the real name of the colorway is. Black Betty is the name of the colorway at 75% merino, 25% nylon. This is by a local independent dyer, Cornbread and Honey. It's kind of hard to see the label. I'll link her below as well. But it says small batch hand-dyed yarn. So I bought some of her yarn before from my local yarn shop. I bought a couple of skeins of this to put with this for the Painting Honeycombs Shawl. So I don't know when I'm going to start it, but that is the plan for that. I plan to go to the Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival in May. I think it's the first or second weekend in May. It's like the 7th and 8th or the 8th and 9th, something like that. So it would be great if I can have it done by then, but I don't think that's gonna happen because that's only a month, and I've got too many whips happening right now. But But I am gonna get it started as soon as I get a couple of things off a couple of these smaller projects off the needles, and just really grateful to John and Aquila for their support, but more importantly for their good work as allies to Black and brown people. So that is it. Finally. Hopefully the next episode won't take so long to come, and so won't be as long. I will be preaching at my church on Maundy Thursday, which is the Thursday before Easter. That is the day that we remember the Last Supper. So I've been asked to do the sermon that evening. So if you pray for me. I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to talk about. And I will probably see you after Easter. Just because I'm going to have a lot going on between now and then. So hold me in your prayers, and do what you can to make our community beloved. Asante Sana.